Oh my word, is that annoying? Ryland. Once was enough. All right, quiet, please. Hey, we don't need anyone to take over Rowan's position of annoying student.
I will tell him the words he shall say.
All right. He's my project for you. Were my project last year.
Did you finish the project?
No, because your shirt's still in top.
Oh yeah, duh, I forgot. I came from gym. That was why.
All right. Well, you need to tell Jim to tell you next time.
Take care, Thursday before you.
All right. Any questions? So obviously, I said I was going to collect both homeworks. Thing. It was just now you solve it.
Can we do question 20?
We're going to skip question 20. 20 was a reach question. I did explain it to a couple people. I will say it ends up being quadratic.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
And I want to say it was x squared plus x minus 12 equals 0. I believe at some step. Is that it? Okay. So then we simply factor that into x plus 4, x minus 3 equals 0. I believe when you solved it, the 12 would have been on that side. Move it to the other side.
Yeah, I was confused.
So we get the two answers of -4 and +3. It's just one. I mean, you're going to occasionally see a quadratic pop up now and then.
How did you get to that quadratic like that? The first step.
What was it? A, not X?
It was
or
a
something?
plus 1 over 6
Yeah.
equals 2 over a.
So what's the common denominator?
6a.
So I'm going to multiply both sides times 6a. Cancel, 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 cancel. So it's a times a plus 1.
Yeah, that's what I got.
So that would give you a squared plus a is equal to 6 times 2 is 12. And then it's basically this with a's instead of x's. Okay. The extraneous one is 0, and neither one of these answers is 0. So okay. I would not put 20 on test.
Okay, good. I didn't understand.
All right, I agree. All right, here we go. Number 7, n is equal to 8. Number 8, a is equal to 1. Number 9, x is equal to 9. Coincidence. Number 10, m is equal to 1. 11 has no solution. 12, x is equal to 0. 13 has no solutions. Remember I said there was 4. 14 has no solution. 15 has no solution. That's a lot of no solutions. 16, w is equal to 0.
Technically, it's not just no solution. No.
17 and 18 are both infinite solutions. Now the book will write all real numbers. Actually, both of these have the same answers except for 2. 2 would be the extraneous solution. 19, c is equal to 1, and 20, -4 and +3. All right, what would I put on the test, or will put on the test? I'm going to put the easiest one possible.
Wait, really?
I will put it like number 7. That's what's going to be on the test.
That's
right?
not hard.
On this chapter. So if you can do number 7, then you'll be fine for the test. Maybe it might look more like number 8, but it's the same basic idea. I don't want you to panic over this stuff. Most of you, considering what we did in chapter 6, are doing way better than what chapter 6. I mean, you're telling me what to do, and you're like, okay, I get it. You can still make some silly mistakes, but I'm saying we're doing way better than what we did in chapter 6. All right, that's it.
Oh, I have a question.
Guess what? I think I want to.
You did. That's good.
What are you doing over your weekend break?
Well, I would like to play golf on Saturday and Monday, but Monday's looking like snow. It's on the forecast. Snow's on the forecast for Monday and Tuesday. All right. So, in a perfect world, not only would today be a Friday, and not only would the weekend be a 3-day weekend, but the math would be easy.
Whoa.
It's a perfect day. Math's going to be easy
I
today.
doubt that.
All right. All right. Cop down your homework. Oh, no. Math is easy today.
I doubt that.
Trust me when I say the math is easy today.
I didn't finish the last one. Yeah.
Some of you will require better notes than others. But many of you should be able to do this without any explanation
I
at
know how
all.
to do this.
Very good.
Oh, I know how to do this.
I know how to do this.
Yes, Jimmy.
You just moved the decimal over 2 times.
Oh my gosh, I know how to do this.
So you know how to do one of 4 things.
Or I can do and then
I know
this one
how to
you
do
just
all
divide 8 by 3. And then in this one, you just move the decimal over 2 times and you get and you put the decimal over 2 times and you get a percentage.
You might know how to do it all.
I know how to
This
do
is
this.
smart, I don't need this.
All right.
Look, I don't need this.
Who didn't get one?
Rylan didn't get one.
Rylan, pick it up because the last one is the one you need help on.
Oh, changing a percentage into a
No, it's going to be solving a percent problem.
48. You just try 48. And then
I
hold on.
can't.
All right.
Wait.
So, yes, as you look at this sheet, many of you already know how to do most of this, and some of you might remember how to do it all. Remember what we're dealing with? We're dealing in this chapter of equations that have variables, numerator, and denominator. Well, it turns out we're going to get that in this application of that skill, where you have an equation and you have variables, numerator, denominator, or potentially both. One of those applications deals with this thing called percents. So, yes, this section is, sorry, this is not clicking. Oh, I know why. This particular lesson is on percents. I said 4, it's actually 5. So you're going to have to do 4 conversions and 1 application. The application, if there's something that you use in adult life with percent, say this is the one. Okay? All right, so for most of you, many of you, it should be a review, but it might not be. It might be something like, I don't remember how to do this, and that's fine. I will say this, it is Algebra 1, so there'll be a couple of these that are really ugly that you might not have seen before, but the nice thing is the procedure is still the same. So write this down in box 1. We're going to be doing percent. The word percent, the Latin root is, anybody?
Percent.
Which it comes from?
Oh, I have no idea.
Take a guess.
Pecunia. Pecunia is money. 100. I don't know why.
Well, absolutely. It actually comes from centum, which means 100.
Well, we don't really.
Okay, this is your last year of Latin. So next year you get to take Spanish or German.
I'm taking German. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so percent just means a number, that's the part, out of 100. So it's going to be some number out of 100, and the symbol for percent is, and some people even see the 100 in the symbol. There's your 1, there's the 2 zeros.
I
Okay?
don't see that.
You're just reading into it too much.
Probably, that's what I say when I hear that as well too. All right,
That doesn't look very 100.
so today we're going to be doing these 4 things. We're going to change a percent to a fraction, a percent to a decimal, fraction to a percent is basically the opposite, and a decimal to a percent. Now, as Rylan and some of the other ones are like, I know how to do a couple of these, but I would bet that a few of these I'm going to have to remind you of. But it should be a reminder, you should have learned this in pre-algebra. The last thing, the 5th one we're going to do is, it's one of those, well, technically word problem where it says something is some percent out of this number. What's the 3rd number involved? Okay. So if there's something to really pay attention to, it's that you might not know how to do, it's the last one. There's a nice easy formula to use. All right. So how do you convert a percent to a fraction? Who knows? What?
Divide it by 100.
You simply take the number and you put it over.
2 times to the left.
No,
No, to the right.
you literally just said it.
Oh, whatever. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of.
You put it over 100. If you need to write that down, write that down. You take the given number without the percent symbol. You put it over 100. Now, since it's now a fraction, you must.
Convert it. I reduce.
You got to reduce it. So, okay, there is a second step.
There's a magical decimal.
But we're not. We'll handle the decimal one here in a second. But for the easy ones, Nathan, the first one, what does it say to do? What's the given number? So we do that and we put it over And then we reduce the fraction and you're done. Okay, you just converted a percent to a fraction. Questions? First one, simple. The second one, simple. Third one, not simple. What do? We still do exactly what it says. What does it say to do? So what am I going to write? 2.4 over 100, but we can never have decimals in a fraction. So what are we going to do?
Move the decimal over.
On both the top and the bottom, we're going to move the decimal one place. There's only one decimal. What are you really doing mathematically? You're multiplying top and bottom by 10. 10 divided by 10 is 1. You're just making an equivalent fraction. Bottom line, when you have a decimal, either top or bottom, you just move it. Now you got to move both top, numerator and denominator, the same number of places. This one, if I move it once, we're good to go. You still have to reduce, so there might be some work involved. All right, last one's weird. We could make it an improper fraction. That would be the hard method, which we will do on the next one. On this one, can't we write that as a decimal? 2.5 is 2.5. So there are times, right, when you can immediately just change it to a decimal, right? That 2.5 will be 2.5. And do that
What if
same
it was
trick.
like 2/3?
I know, that's the next one. Is everybody okay with these 4 examples right here? These are the easy ones. Now we'll talk about the, am I okay? Now we'll talk about the weird one, which is what everyone's asking. Okay, 2 1/9, if you convert that to a decimal, is a repeating decimal. That's 2.111111, and it never stops. So how do we convert that to a fraction? What was our suggestion before?
Improper.
If it's weird and you can't immediately convert it to a decimal, make it an improper fraction. What's that as an improper fraction?
19 over 9.
And then what's the rule state to do? No, it's still a percent. How do you change it to a fraction? What's the rule? You put it over. Now you're ready? This is weird. You put it over 100. It looks really ugly, right? 100 can be written as a fraction. How do you write 100 as a fraction?
100 over 1.
You ready?
Why are we doing that?
Now hold on. What does a fraction bar mean?
Divide.
Copy, dot.
Oh. So it'd be 19 over 900. And that's it? That's your, wow.
I'm going to do that again. If you can convert this to a decimal, do it. 2 1/4 would be 2.25. 2 1/2 would be 2.5. But sometimes you can't do that. 2 1/9. If that's the case, you must write it as a improper fraction. Take this improper fraction, put it over 100. Most people know where this is going. They immediately put it over 100 over 1. And then they do a copy dot flip. You want to know what the really smart kids do? What did this turn into? How do you go from here?
You
to
just
here?
do the bottom times 100.
You just do the bottom times 100. You see what I did? You still have to make it into an improper fraction, but then just take the bottom and multiply by 100. Who did I lose on that one? Now, the why you can do it that easily is because of what's here in the middle. Yeah, it's 19, but by definition percent, it's something over out of 100. And then do a copy dot flip. But yeah, write it as an improper fraction, and then just multiply the denominator times 100, and you're done. Except if there's some reducing to do.
It's like this.
Yes, exactly like that. Now you might have to reduce once you do the math. Okay, we got that? All right, you have 4 problems. Do them. Box 3.
So it's easy.
I said today was. I said, what would be a perfect day? I said it'd be a Friday before a 3-day weekend, and the math was easy. And you just said, wait, the math's easy today. We're not doing any repeating symbol. We're going to do exactly what we did. Yeah, and that's usually where I get a kid, they're like, well, it's already a decimal. No, it's a percent, right? To make it into a decimal, that means get rid of the percent. That means put it over 100, and then get rid of the decimal after that.
Couldn't you just
What? And then you reduce. What goes into 25 and 100?
wait? Couldn't you for like the decimal one or pretty much all of them just do the decimal over twice? Or
What?
to get a percent, not to get a fraction, to get a decimal.
What are you talking? Well, oh, that's another thing. We will do that here in a second. But we're not turning into a decimal, turning into a fraction.
Okay.
But you're right about if we're turning to a decimal. Kaylee, I'm still waiting on you.
Wait, would we do the same message?
What? 1 over 4. 25 goes in 25 once, 25 goes in 104 times. Ari, second one? Fully reduced? What? She says 14. 2 zeros, cancel, it's 14. Oops. Next one? Yeah, but that's not final answer. 13, where'd you get a 13? How about 325 over and then reduce? Well, what goes into 325 and 1,000? How about 25? 25 goes into 100 how many times? There's 300 of them, so that would be plus one more. So 13 over, right? And that's why I was trying to feed you of like, how did you get a 13? Right? It is. She was right. Okay. Last one. Go ahead, Tristan.
4 over 200, or to actually reduce it.
4 over 3 over, right? And then if you really want to use the trick, it would be 4 over, and then you got to reduce that, right? What goes into 4 and 300? 4. 4 goes to 4 once, 4 goes into 100 25 times, and you got 3 of them. So that turns into 75. Yes? All right. Can we now write percents as fractions? All right, 1 out of 5. Next. Okay, this is the easy one, Rylan.
No way.
Do it. Tell me what to do.
You divide by 100.
Oh, absolutely not.
No, not divide by 100.
Actually, he's right.
But
I'm technically right.
He's technically right, but nobody remembers
No one
that.
remembers that.
you moved the
But I'm
decimal.
smart, so I remember that. My math teacher just drilled down into my head for no reason.
That was good.
And you moved the decimal over 2 times to the right.
To the,
Left.
which one?
Left. No.
You're guessing now.
Right.
Okay, so apparently the math teacher didn't drill down enough. If you divide by 100, is the number getting bigger or smaller?
Okay, so it's smaller, so it's to the left.
So it's to the left. That's how I remembered it. Because same thing. You always remember, oh, it's something about moving it 2 places to the right. So the first thing he said was, you just divide by 100, and he's correct. But nobody actually does that. Everybody just says, move the decimal place. But remember, moving a decimal place base 10, we're dividing by 10. And if you move it twice, that's dividing by 100. So all I need to do is move the decimal place 2 times. If you need to write that down, write it down. All right, the first one would be, the second one would be, the third one would be, the last one, problems.
No, because you're going to change it to
You just
2.5,
make it
and then
decimal.
I'm going to make it into a decimal, 2.5.
so it would be 0.5.
Chris, have you done any of this?
Yeah.
What's the answer to the last one?
Oh crap. Okay. She just said it. I know.
But he wasn't paying attention.
Wasn't it 2.6? No, how was that possible? 2.5.
What's the answer?
2.5.
It's not 2.5.
It's not 2.5. Okay, I got this. I know what to do.
Then do
I
it.
got this.
Then do it.
Do it.
Just
Stop
do it already.
pressuring him. Just let him
You're
think.
gonna do this.
No, I don't got this.
Just move the decimal place 2 to the left. It literally says that right there.
Oh, okay. So is it just 0, 0, 0? Yeah, it's that.
0.3.
That's yeah. That's what I had in my mind. It was 0.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
All
got
right. Are we good on this?
Yes.
All right. What about the weird one? What was the weird one previously?
when there's
Re-
a fraction that's like 2/3.
All right. So when you got that ugly thing right there, unfortunately, you gotta
Divide.
Gotta do it
you
over
gotta
100.
divide. You gotta change it to a decimal first, right? So you actually literally have to do the division on this one. So you gotta take 2 1/9. All right. There's two ways of thinking about this. Either 1 divided by 9, or you change it to an improper fraction and do division. Either one's fine, right? Either one is fine, but eventually it's a repeating decimal. You're going to have to round. Okay. I don't know what the book says, whether it says round in nearest 10th or 100th, but whatever the instructions say. So if we did the math, right, if we divided 1 divided by 9, we would get 0.1111111. I'm going to round to 2.1%. And then we can apply the rule which says move the decimal place twice to the left. So the final answer is
0.021. Yeah.
the issue is you got to actually literally do the division.
But I don't want to do that.
Okay, so how many times you're actually going to have to do the division? Well, if it's a weird fraction that you don't recognize, all right, 2/3. Do you recognize that?
It would be like 6.
So she doesn't need to do the division. 7/3. You got to do the division. 11/13. You got to do the division. But other times it's a half, it's 0.5, third, 0.3 repeating, 0.6, or sorry, 2/3, 0.6 repeating, all that jazz. All right, same drill. Oh, by the way, it's the same drill every box.
Can we get to the word ones?
We'll get there. We're already halfway through after this slide.
I can't do the homework after doing
You could open your book and look at it.
That's weird.
Tristan, do the work.
Let's work.
that. Have light.
For which one? I mean, I gotta do math myself. That's why I left those for the end, because those are the most painful. No, just move the decimal place 2 to the left. Why did you move it 3 to the left? Where's the decimal right now at the start? No, look, don't look at that. Look at that. Where's the decimal right now? At the very start, where is the decimal?
Here.
Now move it twice. Oh,
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
all right, Porter. First one is
0.25.
Landon. Second one is
14.
all right. That was pretty easy, Chris.
Which one are you? Oh, okay. That's I know it's 0.0325
Yes.
0.
No.
0.
Zero point. Down to the zero.
Just move it 2 places.
0.325.
There you go.
I keep thinking there's 2 zeros for some
All right.
reason.
This one's hard unless you recognize it.
Yep.
Do you recognize 1/3?
It wouldn't be 3. No.
Does anybody recognize 1/3? If you don't, then you have to do the division. If you did the division, you'd find out that 1/3 is 0.3333333. If you don't recognize it, you got to do that division. So it's 1.33333, and then we're going to move the decimal place to the left. So we get
0.3.
who's lost? Okay, do you recognize 1/3 as a decimal? Then you have to divide 1 by 3. Get that answer, put a 1 in front of it. Then move the decimal place. Don't do the division right now. I'm just saying, understand the procedure. I do the division, I got that. And I'm rounding because it's a repeating decimal. Now move the decimal 2 places to the left. 1, 2, so that would add a 0. Yes? Okay. All right. Hey, we're halfway through. What's the rule? This one's the hard one. What's the rule?
You gotta do the top number divided by the, wait, no.
We have to do the division. So if there's one that causes you to most work, it's this one right here. To change a fraction into percent, you don't have a choice. Unless, if you can look at the fraction and tell me the decimal. This one you can. This is 0.5, right? Then what? Rylan? Once you make it into a decimal, then what?
Then you have to make it into a percent.
How?
So you just move it the decimal. No, basically, you just move over the decimal, which makes it a percent.
Yeah, but how?
You just divide by 100 times by 100.
So that means move it how many places?
Move it over once. Twice. That's
To the
right.
You need to write it down.
I don't.
Step number one, you got to convert it to a decimal. That means division. Top numerator divided by denominator. If it's a mixed number, change it to an improper fraction. Top divided by bottom. Once that's done, what Rylan was trying to say is
You move the decimal over 2 times so that
to the
left. Right.
to the left.
It's 50%.
No.
Oh, I did my division wrong. Hang on.
Oh, you're talking about the answer to the first one.
Yeah.
Oh no, I thought you were talking about something about moving a decimal place. Yes. 1/2 is 0.5, and if you move that 2 places to the left, no, to the right, then it would be 50%. Does anybody recognize a quarter as a decimal? Brandy, the only one? 0.25 is a quarter. Now, if you didn't realize that, then you got to do 1 divided by 4. It's 0.25. So that would be 2.25 because there's a 2 in front of it. Also, when I teach this last year pre-algebra, I would say, don't worry about mixed numbers, just change it to an improper fraction, do the division. So that would be what? 9 over 4. 9 divided by 4 is 2.25. That's just one less step you need to worry about. Move it 2 places to the right, so 225%. 2/3 is, you recognize it?
0.66.
Whole bunch of 6s, right? So round it to at least 2 decimal places because you got to move it 2 decimal places. Therefore, the answer is 67%. And it's approximately, it's not. It's 66.6 repeating percent. Questions? Okay, same drill. Tristan, grab your pencil. This is the ugly one because it requires you to do division, but hopefully maybe you see one of them that you recognize you don't need to do the division on. Everybody okay?
Yes.
What time do we get out of here?
No, I don't know.
It's right in front
Ask
of you.
Miss Emmons. Oh.
We're in period 5.
Go on 45.
Okay, we got plenty of time. Plenty of time. You still lost, Sophia? Note to self, if it comes down to lunch, don't ask Sophia the question. What time do we leave today, Sophia? 3:35? Try to feed your question. You guys are
We're enablers.
Wait,
Oh,
is
God.
Sophia crying?
about to.
Don't make her cry.
She's sobbing.
Don't make Sophia cry. That's mean.
I thought she actually started sobbing. I was like, oh no. What have we done?
My brain is.
No.
All right, who's got the first one?
Not me. I'm confused on how to do it.
What do we got? 37.5%. When you do the long division, you get 0.375. We move it 2 places to the right, we get 37.5%. The second one, hopefully you recognize that 1/3 is 0.33333 repeating. So that would be 3.3333. I'm rounding. So we move it 2 decimal places and we get 330%.
We have essays in there.
Now, if you put 333%, you're more accurate than I am. Okay? Because I didn't put an extra 3. Last one,
18%.
you're done.
Hey. I got it right.
You stole her answer. All right. This is the easiest one, Rylan.
Oh, God, you move it over.
You got to say the right words though this time. No refs or no lights.
Okay, like divide by 100 still
You divide?
Multiply? Using what?
move it over to the right 2 times.
Move it to the
Right.
2 times.
Wait, so it'll be 23%?
This is why I left this as the last one, because there's nothing to do here except move a decimal place. Technically, mathematically, it is multiplied by 100. So therefore, the first one is
7.
I'm just kidding.
7%.
Oh.
If you move it 2 decimal places, you don't get 70. You just get 7.
230.
Second one, you get 230. And the last one, you get
0.1.
0.1 or 0.1%. Okay. You got 10 seconds. And then we'll do the last thing.
Am I right?
I already figured out the last one.
We'll do the rest of them.
Well,
Yes, you're right.
201.
No,
No.
You're close.
there's a decimal.
0.
Just move the decimal place. Stop thinking that he's looking to the sky, or like just move the decimal place.
Oh, so
So it's just move it.
0.12.
Which one are you doing?
Somebody ordered dominoes.
You got me confused. I'm sorry. I know
Wrong.
you're right.
All right, up here. First one is. Second one is, and the last one is 200.1%. All right. Now, I started off this class by saying review. Many, if not most, if not all of you have become, you're okay with this. You just need to be reminding you. Maybe this last thing is the new stuff for some of you. If you had me last year for course 2, we did this last year. Okay. So these are called percent problems. Everybody look at the board. They are all going to follow the same pattern, right? Write this down, please, box 7. This is the magic proportion. It's going to say is over of equals percent over 100.
Did we learn this last year?
Yes, literally the same class, right? There's going to be an is and a number next to it. There's going to be an of and a number next to it. There's going to be a percent. They're going to give you 2 out of the 3 things. They're either going to give you the is and the of and skip the percent, or they'll give you the percent and the of, or the percent and the is. One of them will be missing. Therefore, we'll have a proportion. We can solve it.
I think
The issue is, I don't think anyone here is an English language learner. Some people, you speak English better than I do, right? You correct me on my English at times. The problem is some people who English is not their first language, sometimes they get hung up on this is and of, right? It's not literally the number to the right of is or to the left of is. You've got to read it and understand which is the is and which is the of. So occasionally I'll get students, just because they have weak English skills, have issues with this. You guys aren't that. This should be easy.
You know, life hack. So let's just say, okay. So if you go 32% of 300 is what number? You ready to hear this? You type that into Google, it'll give you straight answer.
It will. Sure it will.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, and you take any equation and you put it in a photo method, it tells you all the steps. Great.
Yeah.
Now let's do it by hand.
Okay.
All right. This is the basic pattern if all 3 things are present. If the percent is present, if the of and the number is present, and the is and the number is present, it will look something like this. 5% of 40 is 2. How the problem will proceed is they will erase one of these things, either the percent
or
the of number. They won't erase the of, but they'll erase the number, or the is number. So what would that look like, right? In a proportion, this one, I got all 3 numbers here, that's the proportion. And remember, cross multiply. 2 times 100 is the same as 40 times 5. What's going to happen in our problems? One of these are going to be missing. It's going to be an x. You're going to solve for x. Okay, so what happens is this. instead of saying 5% of 40 is 2, they erase 1.
It's 8%.
If I erase the percent, what does it say?
Something of 40 is.
It typically says, what percent of 40 is 2? If I erase the of, therefore the setup would be this. I don't know what the percent is, so your percent becomes the x. Is the 2, of is the 40, you cross multiply, find x. The other way it would look if the of is missing, if I erase the of. So it'll say 5%, if I erase the of number, it'll say 5% of
What number?
what number is 2? It'll say that. Well, what's the setup? Well, I got percent and I got my is. I'm missing the of. I'm missing the of. There's your setup. Cross multiply. And lastly, if you're missing the is, it'll look like this. You remember doing this last year?
Yeah.
New kids, maybe not, right? But the old kids, we literally did this last year. In fact, I just copied the slides from pre-algebra and threw it in this presentation because it's the same class.
Cheater.
I did. So here we go. How many numbers are up here?
2.
Chris, do you see a percent symbol?
Yes.
Do you see an of?
Yes.
Is there a number next to of?
Yes.
Do you see the word is?
Yes.
Is there a number next to is?
Yes.
And that's the issue right there. Is that this of and this is are squeezing the 180. Well, 180 is not both of and is, it's one of those. So how do you figure out which one it is? You've got to be able to read
Context.
English. It's context.
Hey, Mr. Chartier,
Yes.
either you don't have your computer hooked up to the projector, or I don't know, I joined wonky, I guess. Because all I see is the window.
Window.
Well,
Also,
thank you for telling me at the end of class.
well, like I thought the thingy said that it started at 11:23, so I was like, okay. And
Yeah,
so
we're on that special schedule because of the, how about now?
I can see it now. We're good. But
Okay,
that's
sorry
probably why I
about
was
that.
all good.
Okay, so once again, our problem is you got the of and the is and they're squeezing 180. It's a context thing. So Chris, there's no doubt that 15% is the percent, right? It's got the percent symbol. So you got to read it and tell me, does the 180 apply to the word of or does it apply to the word is?
Which number? So you want me to?
Does 180 go with the is or does it go with the of?
It goes with is.
It doesn't. It says 50% of 180
Oh,
is a number.
yeah.
So I'm just going to warn you, for those of you who have weak language skills, you get this wrong every time. The rest of us that we're like, well, I don't understand why you don't understand it's of. Our problem is going to be the cross multiplication.
Yeah, that's my problem.
Hey, where's the 15 go? Where does the 180 go?
Oh, sorry, Bobby.
Therefore, we're missing the is, that's your x. Cross multiply. This is x times 100 or 100x. This is a big number. Could you solve that?
Yes.
180 times 15,
Use the
2700,
calculator, what it is.
and divide that by 100. Guess what? This will always be, it'll be 100. You're always going to have 100 here because there's 100 right there. I'm not saying it's always going to be 100 attached to x, but when you're solving for is, it will always be 100 times x. So what's the final answer? What were you solving for, an of or an is? Were we solving for an of or an is? So the answer is not a percent, right? The answer is literally 27. So 15% of 180 is 27. Don't always assume that the of is the larger number and the is the smaller number. It could be different. Percent is always percent, though. Chris, you want another shot at this?
Yeah.
How many numbers are up there?
There's 2 numbers.
Which one do you immediately recognize and where should it go?
Oh, I recognize 23 and 25.
So where does the 25 go?
It goes underneath. No, it doesn't.
what do you literally see that's attached to 25?
Percent.
So where would it go?
Underneath the percent sign.
What's the other number up there?
23.
Now this one is nice because there's no of next to it. There's only an is. So this one's really clear. Notice compared to the previous one, not clear. You got an of and an is and a number between them. You got to read it carefully. But on this one, there's no doubt that 23 is the is. Tell me what to multiply, Chris. Cross multiplication. Tell me what to multiply.
23 and 100 and x and 25.
Okay. Well, you can do that in your head.
Oh, yeah.
What's that? Anytime you multiply by anything with zeros, you just add zeros.
It's just that it's
So what's the answer? Just add the zeros.
okay. Right. It's just I'm out.
Hey, when you're on a sniper range in the Marines and you have to take a 100-meter shot, you got to do this math. You have to be able to do that in your head.
Just add
2,300.
Thank you. Like, I'm not joking about this either, right? You have to be able to do that. All right, divide both sides by 25, we get to our answer. Hey, is that a percent, an is, or an of?
No, yeah,
Because we were solving for of.
Every time you give me a math problem, just mention it as a military math problem. I'll probably get it.
Well, I'll teach you map reading. We'll do a whole bunch of math. All right. Hey, what's missing? So if there's one that will kick your butt, look up here. You're going to get to an answer. You're going to get it wrong because it's asking you to find the percent. So the answer isn't going to be 13. If that's the answer, it's going to be 13%. Okay. Okay, Chris. Of and is, which number goes with which?
I don't see a percentage, but actually, no, I do see a percentage. Wouldn't 64 have the percent?
No, there's no percent.
Because it literally says what percent. There's no percent symbol. The one that will go with the percent will be the one that's attached to the percent symbol. There's nothing up there with a percent symbol. I guess they could get tricky. I've never seen it in our math book. They could use words. It could say 64%.
Yeah, that's what
And
I
that would
thought.
be, but that's not up here. So it's 64 an of or an is.
It's
48 is an of or an is. We toss those in. We're solving for percent. So our answer will have a percent symbol attached to it. It's just cross multiplication from that point. So you have to put that percent symbol on. Last one. Am I done picking on Chris?
Please.
One more.
More?
No, leave Chris alone.
All right, Chris, I'll ask you one question. Pick a number up there and tell me where it goes.
32
Goes where?
underneath the percentage.
Okay, you're off the hook. Piper, what's the other number up there?
Oh, 300.
Is it the 300 an of or an is? Okay, you got the same problem as your brother. Okay,
Wait, oh yeah, that's a percent, sorry, of.
so as I read it,
So learn it, and then I get it.
it says 32% of. So Chris, Piper,
Yes.
maybe read it one word at a time. 30%, no doubt where that goes. Of what?
300.
Of 300.
It's on your hand.
I know. Is what number? Every year, I'll run into kids that they look at this and doesn't matter how many different ways I explain it. It's a language arts issue. It's not a math issue. Set the problem up, do cross multiplication, get to your answer. Last one, Kaylee, pick a number, tell me where it goes. And
Yes, Haley. Yes.
now tell me what to multiply. Holy cow.
Yes.
Now what?
Now you do, you go back to where you
Can you do that in your head? Don't listen to Anna. You got a 2 and an 8.
Okay, go.
It's got a 4. Is it 4? Is 4 times 2,800? If that's not the answer, is 40 times 2,800. And if that's not the answer, is it 400 times 2,800? So make sure you do that one by hand. Okay.
That was a good one.
But yeah, you got all the way to that step right there without any help. All right.
Doing.
Questions on anything we did today? There's not a bell, so I guess they can claim that I waited 2 minutes. Go eat lunch.
So like,
Sixth period. Never mind.
What? They had to student
Yeah,
schedule
you got
an
sixth
extra
period.
hour later.
what?
Oh my god.
Start
And then final period, like an hour long.
I'm missing.
Thank you.
I'm so confused.
I heard I'm so confused. What are we confused about?
Well, as you know, I didn't really make it to the beginning of this lesson. So it's
One more
like, hold up. I didn't make it to the beginning of this lesson because, well,
Ah,
so I didn't have the right times or whatever, but I have no idea what the heck is going on.
I'm gonna go back a couple slides.
Okay.
An hour back because you had computers in here.
But they have them in the language room now. Okay, so that's what you have to write down. This is the magic percent or the magic proportion that will solve all these problems. You still have to take your quiz.
Have a quiz?
Yesterday we all took it. You weren't here for it.
You have a quiz?
Not you. I'm talking to another student.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Sophia wants to say hi to you, Julie.
Hi, Julie. I don't know if you can see me, but hi.
She can't see us.
Hi. And I can see you. I can see you.
If she wasn't crying, she was laughing in class.
Oh, I thought she was crying. I was like, why are you guys doing that?
Oh, she was giggling.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, 1 second, Julie.
All right.
I need my homework thing and.
Here's the homework. All right. The answers are going to be on the back.
Okay.
It's the same thing we just did.
And then, so
That's this one.
that's that.
Okay.
one. And then I came back into the classroom because I noticed, but
That's fine.
then what do I do about the quiz?
We'll catch you next week. I'll just say the quiz was basically this, or just graph one line. I'm
Just
sorry.
graph one line?
Yeah, and there was only 2 problems, so we'll catch you next
Okay,
week.
that's pretty easy.
It is, because you're doing it twice for every one of these, right? Okay, hey, just make sure you are getting the right answers, right? And that they do intersect, or if they don't intersect, then they're parallel lines. No solution, right?
Oh, wait, you mean like,
Well, I mean, like here, I
oh,
mean,
wait, those would have intersected right there.
I know, but on this one, it's kind of hard to see. I mean, are we saying up here?
Yeah, okay, I get
Just
that.
extend the line just to make sure, convince yourself that they do in fact intersect.
Okay, that makes more sense.
All right, Julie, you got this copy down?
Yep.
Okay, so all we're gonna do now is give you a problem where I only give you 2 of the numbers. Let me get to it.
Okay.
There we go. So 15%, obviously the 15 goes where the percent symbol, yes?
Yeah.
And then we're stuck with that 180. And the question is does the 180 go with the word of, or does it go with the word is? And this is, you just got to read it carefully. What do you think?
Of.
Yeah. So I put it there where the of is, and you remember how to do cross multiplication?
Maybe.
Okay, remember the, like, it's butterfly method, maybe you were told?
I
Like
don't know.
this,
Oh.
cross multiplication.
Oh, yes. I remember that. Okay.
So that's all it is. So it would be x times 100 or 100 times x is equal to 180 times 15,
Uh-huh.
and just solve that equation from there. All of these problems are like that. That was the last part of the class. The very first part of this class was converting fractions to decimals, decimals to fractions, fractions to percent, percents to fractions, decimals to percents, percents to decimals. Are you familiar with that stuff?
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I know that crap.
Cool. Cool. Then that was
So-
everything.
All right. What time did this class actually start?
Now remember, this was just for today. We're back to normal stuff next week, but that was just for today. So I don't remember when it started, but it's over
'Cause
right now.
I was looking at the schedule and it said 11:23, and then I came in, there was no
There is,
payroll.
because that schedule was for a non-testing thing, but the testing thing, we were on a non-assembly schedule, so that's why it was a little
Ah.
weird.
Okay, that makes
All right.
sense.
Hey,
Alright.
have a good weekend. I'll see you
You
on
too.
Tuesday. All right, bye.